The holidays are here, and that means endless gift giving and secret Santas. But this year, save some money, watch this video, and just print your presents. All right, so this year I went on a mission to find actual good gifts that you could 3D print for Christmas parties and gift exchanges at work. Because, let's face it, we could all just save some money. This isn't the time to print, articulating dragons, because I'm sorry, but nobody cares. It's a terrible gift, and at this point, it's just lazy. So what did make my gift list? First up are stocking stuffers. Obviously, I'm basing this off my friends, but what's important is the thought behind this. First up are guitar picks. So I'm a guitarist. I lose guitar picks all the time. Everybody does. So while I printed just like a half dozen, print 20 or 30 and make a musician's day. You can design them yourself or find a design on Printables or Thingiverse. I have friends that are guitarists, so at least this is a little bit more thoughtful than a random knickknack they'll never use. Print them in their favorite color and you're off to the races. Second is a cookie cutter. But quick disclaimer, not everybody, or most people shouldn't, want 3D printed parts interacting with their food. So something I've seen people do is put plastic wrap over the dough and just apply enough pressure to cut the dough, but not the plastic wrap. Either way, do your research, but I have a friend who likes baking, so I thought this is something easy that's personal to them and it can just be used as a little something extra. All right, the third stocking stuffer is Legos. So normally Legos are injection molded ABS. So this process is insanely precise to get that consistent click of the Lego and make them hold. But 3D printing is not nearly as accurate, so you need a workaround. First, get the best model you can, and then just paint on fuzzy skin to the little circular connectors to increase friction. And that'll give them a good hold. I'm sure you can make the model yourself and tweak settings, but the idea is that these are quick gifts, and this is the quickest way to do this. Most slicers can paint fuzzy skin, and Prusa Slicer is no exception. All you have to do is click on the Paint Fuzzy Skin button, and then click on each little circle connector, and there you go. Now when you print, there'll be enough friction to hold the pieces together. All right, now time to move on to the cool, actual real gifts, because these gifts were fine, but they were meant as super specific to my individual friends and family's interests, and they were meant to be that little extra something on top. And before I move on, help people out, including myself, by commenting your favorite 3D printed gift to give and what you see that people like being gifted that's 3D printed, because even just thinking of these things took me forever. Also, make sure you subscribe if you find the content helpful and want more like it. Anyway, on to the cooler stuff. First up, this wood picture frame. I have 2 videos about 3D printing wood filament, so look them up. But this doesn't need to be wood. It could be any color, the PLA, PETG, PC if you really wanted to. But for this one, I printed it in wood and I put Scrappy Creative in here. This is one of those things that 3D printing is perfect for. I got the frame from Thingiverse and then I modified it in Blender to have the name. That took me about 10 minutes and then I was able to just print. So you get to give something special while not spending a ton of time and money on it. If you were to buy the custom frame like this from a store, it would run a lot of money. So this is a winner. And it can work for just about anybody. It's not specific to an interest, but it's just something cool and custom for your friends and family. The next cool thing is a little less personal, but cooler for a kid. I made this airless basketball and this hoop that goes on a door. When I was a kid, I loved stuff like this, and depending on the material, you can make the hoop last a really long time. Or frankly, just print a few because even the higher end store-bought ones break. This was the longest print time. I think it was about 12 or 13 hours because it's made from Coex3D's 60D TPE. That means it's still flexible like TPU, but it's hard enough to bounce a little. It's perfect for kids in a house because it won't bounce enough to break anything, but it's fun enough to play with. Okay, now back to cool personalization. A lithophane, an oldie but a goodie. To do it right, you need to place a light behind to show it off, but to be able to print in time for the video and to show you guys how cool they are, I just printed this small version that I can just use an external light and not actually wire anything up to it to show you. I made this insanely fast just by using a free online lithophane generator. It's called itslitho.com. It was super easy to use. I just put it in the slicer, scaled it to my liking, and here's a lithophane of my dog. The last thing is my personal favorite idea. It's basically an NFC card that you can program to be a digital business card or whatever you need it to be. This is the only thing I'm making that is not just 3D printed, but it's technically more because it has this cheap little NFC tag in it. I got delivered a pack of 50 for about $10, and here's how I made this. First step was getting the dimensions of a credit card. It's about 85.6 millimeters by 53.98 millimeters, and it's 0.75 millimeters thick. Next, I got the dimensions of the NFC tag, and these are a 25 millimeter circle in diameter and 1 millimeter thick. So here's the first problem. The NFC was thicker than a normal credit card. So I made the card closer to 2 millimeters thick, and it's beefy, but it still fits in a wallet the same as any other card. And then in my slicer, I just added a negative volume that's cylindrical and the size of the NFC tag. And I added a pause in the print before the hole got covered. I added a little tap symbol where I was planning on having the NFC, and then printed. The only other thing you need to do is program the NFC, which you can do after you print. I made this one, send an email when you tap. And then whoever taps can either just hit send, so I have their email, or give as much other details as they want. The app I use is called NFC Tools for iOS, but there's a ton of apps like this one. This is great for anybody who does a lot of freelance work or is an entrepreneur or is always giving out their information. This is a whole lot easier than carrying a stack of business cards or trying to swap phone numbers. It takes forever, people get typos. This is just a simpler way. Whether it's something that's in your friend's interests and hobbies or just something cool with their name on it, whatever it is, stop printing stuff that's just going to end up in the trash and start making a few things that will end up on a display shelf. I also want your suggestions in the comments again, because it is Christmas and I am going to be printing more gifts, but that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.